No matter where you look in the world, whether it's a billboard or on a computer or on your phone, people creating content, and content's needed for a business to market themselves. Wow, so the marketing industry has evolved a lot. When I started off, there was only a few platforms. Now there's tons of different options. For example, according to Sprout Social, the average person is using 6.6 social networks on a daily basis. That's a ridiculous amount of social platforms. Now, when you think about platforms and the web, people mainly think about like Google and Facebook. But here's an interesting stat for you. There's roughly 45.1 billion searches a day, right? And people say online experiences start with search. Google controls roughly 18% of the market, and they have a little bit more than 8.5 billion searches a day. You also have ChatGPT, which is at roughly a billion, but there's a lot of other players in between and even at the bottom end of the spectrum. For example, the Apple App Store gets 500 million searches a day. Instagram is the second most popular search platform at 6.5 billion searches a day. Now, they may be searching for friends, content, right? The type of searches they're doing on these platforms vary drastically. But like even Amazon, for example, 3.5 billion searches a day. So marketing has changed to what we call search everywhere optimization. You got to optimize for all these platforms, all the different use cases, and if you're not everywhere, you're not going to win and succeed. There's going to be a lot of changes that's coming up in the future, and trends change over time. But there's one key thing that has always been consistent, right? There's attention. Attention can change from platform to platform, but the thing that stays consistent is technology continually evolves, and we end up using the technology whether we like it or dislike it. And the easiest way for corporations to stay on top of trends is actually leverage the latest technology and encourage it. So I'll give you an example of this. So for example, in an organization, I would tell them, hey, have different departments use, let's say, AI. And in marketing, use AI for marketing. And everyone within the organization, you can tell them to use AI, but a lot of people won't. Or you can tell them to use the latest technology, a lot of people won't. But if you actually tell them, I want you to use the technology within your job to try to make your task more efficient, give you more time so you can spend it on the tasks that you like doing or the stuff that requires more creativity or critical thinking or strategy. And every week on Friday, as a team, for 15 minutes, just 15, not that long, people should share one or two things that they've done with the technology to make their job more efficient. And not everyone in the group has to share, but people should rotate. And everyone within the organization will learn how to use this technology, the learnings that their colleagues had, what the failures they had, the successes they had, the step-by-step prompts or steps that they use to get the most out of this technology. And what you'll find is this will create a culture of people embracing technology and adapting with it, which will enable them to leverage the up-and-coming trends more efficiently and effectively for the organization. If you think about the space today, there's content everywhere. According to Search Engine Journal, roughly 4.8 billion pieces of content are created daily. To put it in perspective, in a matter of 2 days, there's more content created than the population of the world. So the problem these days is not content. There's actually too much of it. But as a business to stand out, you got to publish content. Whether you're publishing content on a blog or social media, or even television ads are a form of content, right? Because you're creating an ad to be placed on a television screen. No matter where you look in the world, whether it's a billboard or on a computer or on your phone, people creating content, and content's needed for a business to market themselves. So you have to create content, but the issue is there's too much content being published daily. What do you do? Well, the issue is that you shouldn't. not create content because you have to. The issue is that most content looks the same, right? Especially with AI, when we surveyed a bit more than 1,000 marketers, the majority, and when I say the majority, more than 80% are leveraging AI to create content. AI scrapes the whole web, uses it to create outputs. But the content that you create from your brain, your heart, a lot of it has the elements that is called E: experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And when you include those elements, it makes your content more unique versus regurgitated information that a lot of people are using to just create more content. So when you're creating content, the key is not quantity, it's quality. And you need to focus on talking about new stuff, creating new things that people haven't seen, and that is how you stand out. If you create the same stuff that everyone else is creating, you're not going to do well. You got to talk about new things, new stuff that people haven't really seen or interacted with. That's the only way to really do well in today's world. And once you do that, you got to publish it on all major platforms and adapt it to those platforms. Because in marketing, we have something called the rule of 7. When someone sees or interacts with the brand 7 times, they're much more likely to evangelize it and buy from that company. But the only way for people to continually see you is to leverage most of the mediums out there.